Hello. Okay, this is all good. Okay. Well, it's wonderful to be out here, and great to see all of you here. I'm here to talk about why you really should care about virtual reality. Virtual reality is not a new thing. We have been talking about virtual reality for a long time, and why now? Why do you have to care about virtual reality? I want to start with something called diminishing return. It's an economic term, meaning that the amount of input you put into increase the output does not add any value to the consumers. That's what it means. So let's talk about displays. Smartphone displays, you're using all your smartphones today. How many of you here actually know the current resolution on your display? Or do you even care about your resolution anymore? It was Apple's iPhone 4S, before Steve Jobs passed away. He talked about Retina display. That's a big marketing word for the Retina display. Ever since then, Apple didn't really talk about the resolution of the smartphone anymore. If you look at your Samsung Galaxy S, it was Samsung Galaxy S5 that talked about OLED display with the QHD panel, but ever since then, Samsung doesn't advertise about display anymore. That's because you don't care. That's because the display is good enough. The smartphone displays, nowadays come in anywhere from 4.5 inches to 5.7 inches, and the current display resolution is good enough that you don't have to increase the resolution anymore. And this is really bad news for the display companies because they can't really make a profit out of it. Samsung has been using their own display from Samsung Display Group, and they were the largest buyer of the display component. But there are other competitions coming from the display companies who can catch up the technology. Unless there's a market for display companies to continue to push their envelope and then make this resolution better, they're doomed. Their profit margin is going to go down, right? Obviously. Now, that's why they are looking into virtual reality. It was a smartphone that was driving the sales of the small displays in the past, but now the growth has been steadily plateaued. So we need to have a new market that needs to have a higher resolution display. And those people who have tried virtual reality, I'm sure many of you here have tried it, I hope so, probably thought that the resolution on the displays is somewhat lacking the quality that you have seen from the TVs. So you have a more desire to look at the headset display to be better. This gives actually reason for display companies to continue to push their envelope and make a better display. Now, if you look at the graphic processing units, how many of you actually upgrade your PCs regularly nowadays? Probably not that many. Many people now choose to spend their time on their iPhones and Apple iPads, because this is the way you consume your internet content. Not many people are using PCs anymore. The global NVIDIA research starts to show that the PC sales has been steadily decreasing ever since 2012, because it was computer gaming that was pushing the hardware upgrades, but now the computer graphics has gone good enough that you don't need to increase the horsepower of the graphics anymore. But the funny thing is that virtual reality is requiring a lot of horsepower out of your PC. Normal gaming content on your PlayStation 4 runs at 60 frames per second at a resolution of 1080p. That's pretty common. But virtual reality content requires 90 frames per second with higher resolution, more than 4K. So that actually requires really, really high processing power. And this is good news for NVIDIA or AMD or Intel or the company, the chip producers called ARM. According to the NVIDIA research, less than 1% of the global PC market is properly equipped to run your VR content, which means they don't need to sell more PCs. They can talk about the existing market. Over 99% of the PCs out there are not properly equipped to run your VR content, which means it's a huge market opportunity for the graphic processor units. That's why they care about VR. So regardless of your consumers who haven't really exposed to VR, you are bound to see more VR headset coming out in the next couple of years. But that's not the only merit for virtual reality. There's a ton of new user experience that the VR can deliver. So one of the strongest user experiences is the Be Anywhere.
Open your mouth and shout.
City.
All right, I'm not going to make you.
Oh man!
City, doesn't it feel like you can reach out and touch the post?
You bet your bottom dollar you can. And I can't get over the leaves moving. Oh, I can't believe it. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, she's a 9-year-old grandmother. Normally, if you're 90 years old, you're not going to be able to travel a lot. Because when you're traveling, you need 3 major costs. You need to have time, you need to have money, you need to have good health. But if you're 90 years old, out of those 3 factors, what are the things that you probably have? Maybe time, right? But you're not going to have enough money, or you're not going to be healthy enough to travel from one continent to another. But virtual reality, because it makes you to believe that you're in a certain place, this actually saves a lot of cost, time and money. You can do anything in virtual reality.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god!
I mean, a lot of you like to try skydiving or bungee jumping or like riding a roller coaster, but some people are just too scared to do that because you think that you're going to die from it, right? But virtual reality gives a safe environment where you can actually have that experience from your home and believe that you're actually riding a roller coaster. And you can be anything in VR. You can see yourself, fly as a bird. You can see how the world, insect looks at the world. You can see how your dog looks at the world. Virtual reality gives the power for you to be someone else. You don't have to be yourself. You can be, simple as a chicken. The main concept of virtual reality is that you can save a lot of time and space. This virtual reality is a technology that will enable human to have a full control of space and time. So a lot of the things that we have paid a lot of money for because of the fact that we could not control the time and space, you can retranslate and actually disrupt a lot of the industry that we know today. Let's talk about some of the things that virtual reality will change over time. Now, I want you to notice that all the stuff that I just showed are just eight top things. There are many other industry verticals out there you can disrupt. But main point is that all these industries I just showed you, the main concept is time and space. How do you control your time and space to disrupt the current traditional industries of today? VR is coming soon to your market. Oculus has already released, there's a consumer product, there's a Taiwanese company called HTC releasing their products, and you'll see hundreds of different HMDs coming out of China. And Google made an announcement, something called a Daydream, that's going to be empowering your smartphones to be the HMD. I want you to understand that VR is not a category or industrial sector, okay? So we're not here to talk about virtual reality as an industrial vertical. It's rather a technology. It's a technology that will disrupt the current traditional market that we know of today. Think about VR as an enabler. You have to think about what you can do with the technology when you can disrupt time and space. And VR is happening, regardless of, of whether you like it or not. It's going to come out soon. And I want you guys to be ready for, what's coming ahead of your future. Thank you very much.